But first, a historic legal battle that could have major political implications on the 2024 race. The first son, Hunter Biden, has officially pleaded not guilty to 3 federal charges after his court appearance earlier today. He's accused of lying about his drug use while buying a firearm, along with illegally owning that gun while addicted to a controlled substance. The charges brought by special counsel David Weiss mark the first time a sitting president's child has ever faced criminal prosecution. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany here with my co-host Harris Faulkner and Emily Campagno. Also joining us, former State Department spokesperson and founder of Polaris National Security, Morgan Ortagus, and Fox News contributor Raymond Arroyo. Well, Hunter's day in court today was brief. He was in and out in less than an hour, but we're now learning new details about the conditions of the first son's pretrial release. Among the court's terms, Hunter must seek unemployment. I'm not sure if the art sales will count there. And communicate all international travel plans. We know he likes to jet set the world with his dad, sometimes the president. He cannot possess any firearms and must submit to random drug testing. Hunter must also participate in substance abuse counseling. Emily, this comes on the heels of that pretrial diversion agreement, where I wonder if a 20-year-old in Chicago would have gotten that same agreement that the first son got. Of course, that has been stymied, blown to pieces, and now he faces something that might resemble accountability.
With all of these conditions as well, in my opinion, laughable, communicate our international travel plans to the judge. Most pretrial defendants don't get that luxury of communicating. What they have is their passports taken away from them, confiscated, and they will be remaining at home. Now, you could argue, well, he's not a flight risk. He's so well known. Of course, they could find him. That's not the point. The point is that from moment one, he has enjoyed a really different approach than anyone else, including, to your point, why was it that he was more than willing to plead guilty just a few short weeks ago? Oh, is it because his sweeping immunity deal was tucked into a diversion agreement, at best illegal, at least unethical, and now he says, no, not guilty. He's also arguing that the underlying law that his dad has pushed for and helped craft is now rendered unconstitutional based on other case law. So, to answer your question directly, of course not. Any other defendant would not be enjoying nearly the special treatment here, but all you will hear from the left-wing media and from this administration is that he is absolutely receiving accountability. It remains to be seen just what that accountability looks like for this gun charge and also those taxes charges. Right. As you read that opening sentence and you talked about the historical, in my head I was like, oh, are we talking about Trump first? The whole point is there's 2 different concurrent trials, concurrent treatments right now that we are seeing that could not be more different in the way that the justice system is viewing a defendant.
And we're watching them live this Tuesday morning. It's really crazy to see both of them side by side. Harris, the irony here is that Hunter Biden might become the biggest Second Amendment advocate. He's being prosecuted under a statute his dad supports, but he might have to make arguments pursuant to the Second Amendment to try to say this is unconstitutional.
Well, that part of it, and also I'm curious what actually Emily thinks about this. The way that drug charges have been adjudicated as of late, marijuana has folded in and changed things because it's become legal in most places across the country. And I wonder if that has any impact on this case in terms of lying on a drug form. Now he says he didn't lie and that he was clean. And of course, he got drug tested when he got to court today because that's part of his release agreement. He has to do more of that random drug testing. But what about where the law sits now? Yes, there's an argument that he's going to have to make on guns and the Second Amendment and how he has the right to have one in the trunk of his car no matter what he's been smoking. But then what about, well, the country's looking at drugs differently now. Does that come into play?
I mean, federally speaking, marijuana is still illegal. So there it would be squarely how it was viewed 5-10 years ago. But you raise a good point, which is that national conversation has certainly shifted around whether you view drug charges as non-violent, et cetera. But remember, I read out on this couch plenty of defendants who enjoyed prison time and maximum prosecutions for simply lying on that gun application charge, many of them having to do with drugs. So again, there are plenty of defendants out there that have a very different story to tell about this specific charge.
And that to me is what is confounding, Raymond, because here you have a situation where Emily just says all of this precedent, other people were prosecuted for this, but he initially gets this pretrial diversion agreement that was scuttled. And then you flip over to the other side, and we watched Trump this morning in our own brain room. Cannot find a single incident, doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but can't find an incident where a victimless crime of this nature was prosecuted in the same manner.
Well, that's what, when Emily was saying that earlier, I kept thinking of Merrick Garland over the weekend, who told us there's only one rule of law in this country, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. That is simply not true. And just to clarify and reset for the viewers, what we are seeing today with Hunter Biden, that is the result of those two IRS whistleblowers coming forward and blowing the whistle on their own bosses, saying our investigation was stymied. They are trying to bury these charges. But for that, we would not even see the scene we're seeing right now on our screens. So that's a key point. But when we dig deeper and you look at the fact pattern here, the Washington Post just reported the alarm that set off the whole Hunter Biden investigation was paying prostitutes, escorts, $30,000 in 5 months. They were tracking the monies flowing in and out of the Wells Fargo account. That's what first threw Hunter Biden on their radar. That will be his undoing, because this is tied to corruption on multiple levels.
Raymond, that's such a good point, because some of these prostitutes had Russian passports, and the checks were going through a Chinese-based company. I mean, file this under, you can't make this, you know what, up. And by the way, the Russians' use of prostitutes, from a national security perspective, Harris, have been going since the Cold War, right? This is like not hard to figure out that the Russians will use prostitutes to trap American officials or their family members to try and get information.
Maybe why we have so much video of him on YouTube with prostitutes.
And all of this,
that and other self-control issues.
The Daily, on that topic, a lot of self-control issues. The Daily Mail reporting to that point, exclusive, Hunter Biden was suspected of hiring prostitutes from Eastern European sex trafficking ring during drug binges and falsifying checks to pay the women. Treasury documents reveal each day it gets worse. And it stuck to me. You had the Attorney General on 60 Minutes talking about Republicans and Democrats and how they are treated equitably by the Department of Justice. Let's play that.
We do not have one rule for Republicans and another rule for Democrats. We don't have one rule for foes and another for friends. We have only one rule. And that one rule is that we follow the facts and the law, and we reach the decisions required by the Constitution, and we protect civil liberties.
So both are treated equally. Emily, tell that to Mark Houck, a pro-life activist whose home was raided by the FBI, acquitted by a jury, because we still have those in this country. Tell that to Catholics who read a memo about the FBI coming into their churches, to parents at school board meetings. Tell that to them, because it sure doesn't feel like equal application of justice.
And that's the thing. You know, every time that I sit on this couch and we look at these figures, you know, it's sort of easy to conceptualize them sort of theoretically. But the reality is that millions of American families are subjected to being hunted and prosecuted and pressured by this Department of Justice. I have seen it firsthand. I have seen what sentencings look like. I have seen the destruction of families. And so every time when you get that email or you get that notice, you're being audited. The IRS has a question. Think about that pit in your stomach and times that by 1 million. That's what many Americans have to go through all the time. And I guess now, for attending Catholic church in a Latin mass, for daring to show up at your child's board meeting, there are so many everyday activities that simple investment as an American renders you in the crosshairs of this DOJ. And for him to sit there and lie like that is frankly unpalatable.
And the surge that we have seen has not been at the border of judges and so on, where we really need the backup for our border agents. The surge has been at the IRS with 87,000 extra agents.
Yep. Wonder how everyday Americans feel about that today.
Yep.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.